Hi, welcome back. In the last couple of topics, you have learned about different types of indoor landscapes and much more. But have you heard about biophilic designs? Not yet. Well, it is also one of the biggest interior design trends in these years. So let us see what is biophilic design and how the term got originated. Biophilic design dates back to the early 1980s when the biologist Edward O. Wilson outlined his philosophy of biophilia. He considered that humans have an innate biological affinity for the natural world. Biophilia means love for the nature. Biophilic design takes this idea one step further. According to 2001 National Human Activity Pattern Survey, humans today spend 90% of our time indoors, and this is necessary to bring the outdoors in and create indoor environment that can refer natural in both obvious and subtle ways. Biophilic design is the based around the inclusion of nature in the built environment. It can create the harmony between indoor and outdoor space. Ahead of this, it is not just the inclusion of plants and all natural things, but biophilic design has an underlying philosophy. It focuses on creating a calmness in the space by visual connection with the nature while improving well-being, health and productivity. In one research conducted in 2019, the researchers found that children in the Denmark who had been exposed to more greenery had 55% less mental health problems later in their life compared to those who were not exposed to nature. Other research has shown that plants can reduce stress, help with the focus, and even increase the immunity. Another finding on this is we spend a lot of time at the work in intense focus, which leads to mental fatigue. Spending even a few seconds dipping your eyes from your screen to stare at the desk plant could help give your mind to break and restore your ability to focus on work. This has led many corporate companies to embrace biophilic design as a means of making employees happier, more creative, and hardworking. Living walls in tech company offices are so common that they have become a design glitch. Furniture companies nowadays have started design office tables and desks with the planters built in. Research undertaken over the past few decades has shown that biophilic design can improve cognitive function, physical health, and psychological well-being with benefits that includes improved memory and concentration, reduce anxiety and depression, and also reducing down the stress levels. Thus, biophilic design approach is influencing from homes to offices, and it's also been particularly effective in the design of healthcare facilities. A few examples from the medical facility buildings who opted these design types include the pediatric ward of a hospital in Washington, which has healing gardens where patients and their families can relax. There are major six types of elements and the attributes that fall within biophilic design, and these are environmental features, natural shapes and forms, then natural patterns and processes, light and spaces, place-based relationship, and evolved human-nature relationship. Now let us look at those one by one in detail. If we talk about the environmental features, Simply put, the biophilic design element of environmental features relates to the characteristics of the natural world found in the built environment. People are naturally drawn to the features of natural environment such as plants, animals, and natural materials. A sense of connection to the nature can also be created with the colors, water, and sunlight, while well ventilated spaces promote well-being. Buildings that work in harmony with the surrounding nature, for example, ivy covered walls, or buildings that complement the local geological features, also tend to be well received. The second important element is natural shapes and forms. The element of natural shapes and forms include the representation and simulations of natural world on buildings both internally and externally. This can include shapes, forms and patterns found in vegetation, trees and leaves and motifs of animals and structures they create such as hives and waves. Spaces that simulate natural features or imitate the flowing organic forms of nature rather than sticking to the straight edges and right angles typically found in modern architecture are also preferred. These are designs that mimic local geology or even those accidentally resemble living forms. The third major element of biophilic design is natural patterns and processes. Distinct from shapes and forms, this element focuses on how incorporating properties found in the nature which enhances our built environment. For example, variations in light or sound changes the qualities of material over the time. Central focal point, spaces and passageways with the clear boundaries and a sense of patterns. People also prefer to have a perception of wholeness or completeness in the places that are made up of several distinct parts. The fourth major element is light and space. The use of light and space is a crucial element of biophilic design, and there are many ways they can be incorporated into the space. Both natural and filtered daylight can provide benefits. Meanwhile, the space can be used to create a sense of openness, diversity, harmony, and link between outdoor and indoor environments, and to define the surrounding shapes and areas. Then we have our fifth element, place-based relationships. The element of place-based relationships refer to a connection of culture with the ecosystem. People have a strong sense of connection with the certain places as they provide a sense of safety and control. This explains why we get homesick or miss places where we feel good. Having an emotional connection with a place gives people a protective sense of control over it. Lastly, we have evolved human-nature relationship. While all of the elements we have described reflect the human connection with our natural environment, this one is on fundamental aspect of our relationship with the nature and how they can be reflected in the built environment. This can include a sense of safety and protection. So this brings us to the end of our module. We would suggest you to go through the topics as many times as possible because only by doing so you will get clear idea of entire content. Working like a pro in landscaping needs years of practice and experience. This module here is all about the basics of landscaping, and if you wish to learn more about it, do let us know. Bye and all the best for rest of your studies.